buddy. The side quest
Yeah,
podcast.
I hit start and you immediately started cutting out.
It's all horrible. I'm shutting down all my windows right now just so I can have
One more show and then you have internet again.
everybody a town beautiful thing written to watch. Ollie, hear me?
I can now. I heard nothing and then I heard hear me.
It's gonna be an awesome show.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
I'll do
Tell
my
everybody in the
best.
house to turn their fucking torrents off.
I think my daughter is editing video upstairs. My wife is surfing, and I don't know, someone's watching porn somewhere. Oh, I'm watching porn. How's it going?
It's going all right, I guess. I was late to work today. Yeah, yesterday I did not get to sleep. So when my alarms went off, I was already awake. So I just disabled all my alarms because I was like, I don't want to deal with all of these because I'm awake already. And then I forgot to re-enable them, so I was an hour late to work today because I woke up late.
Jeez.
Yeah,
Why didn't you get to sleep the other night?
well, I'm an insomniac.
Anyway,
I went to bed and I tried for 7 hours to fall asleep, and then next thing, and then it was like 9 in the morning. I was like, well, this was pointless.
you know what you need is a portable device that you could play video games on with.
Yeah, yeah, I should get one of those. I'm just holding out
Fix
for a big
your
one. Just holding
sleeping
out for
habit.
one that fits. I was on the Games Beat Decides podcast a couple of days ago, and we actually talked about the new Switches, and both Jeff and our very own friend of the show, Mr. Negative, think that the new Switch Lite should be comfortable in my hands, even though it's smaller because it's a single contained piece. There's less stress there, or something. Like you're not tense because you
Right?
don't feel like you're gonna break it.
All mental, like part of it was like,
Yeah, maybe, but I mean, I don't know if I agree with them because it's less that I'm worried about breaking it and more that a Joy-Con is the size of one of my fingers.
I think it's too small for you.
Yeah.
You'll have to. Sorry if I'm coughing this whole time, folks. I am sick, so it's not just the robots that are gonna get you. It's my fucking cold. I think it's way too small for you. My opinion. Or a
Just the
PSP or
robots
anything
that.
like that.
I had what was the one PSP? I've used a PSP and it was incredibly painful to use. I would
Okay.
usually put it down on a table and like use two fingers to play it.
The Switch Lite is bigger than a PSP. Is that
Is it bigger than a Game Gear?
bigger than a Game Gear?
Is it bigger than a bread box?
Smaller than a bus. Still too small for you there, bud.
Yeah, like I've not like I had a Game Boy Color when I was 10, and that was already getting to the point where it was too small. Like my thumbs were way bigger. Like I would be pressing all the buttons with like the inside of my thumb. You know what I mean? And like the 3DS was way too small. Like I couldn't fucking use that thing at all. Um,
XL was still pretty small.
the DS was sort of okay because it had the flip lid, so I could put it on a table and like use my fingers without having to hold the fucking thing. But yeah, shit's too small, man, and they keep making it smaller. Doesn't do any good. It was the greatest thing in the world when everybody decided we should make cell phones bigger. It's like, yeah, you should. Now they're normal people size. Me being normal
Giant
people.
ass cell phone.
I got a fucking
Giant cell phone.
big ass cell phone and it looks normal
Yeah.
while I'm holding it. It's great.
Get into what we've been playing
Yeah.
last week. First of all, this is the last week we're gonna be like robots because I'll have my new house next week. So
Oh,
it all
there's
sounds
no need
great.
to say we'll be like robots. I'm pretty sure it's just you. I think I sound phenomenal.
It's just me. It's just
I
me.
sound as good as you can sound with a shitty mic. I listen to myself. I had to listen to myself for a couple of things the other day. I realized there's no amount of work I can put in. Like, I'm bottlenecked by this microphone now. I need to get a better mic. Like, I got a good.
I am that at Audio Technica.
Yeah, I got to get one of those.
It's a nice piece of kit. With what I've been playing, because I'm sure it'll be short. I've played the original Luigi's Mansion on the 3DS, and then Luigi's Mansion 2 Dark Moon. And they're both fine games, and I'm ready for on the Switch. Played both those this week, and then Marvel Ultimate Alliance finally, Link's Awakening. But the hot jam I know about is, if I can open it, new game on mobile devices. Woohoo!
Is it Mario Kart?
It's Kart. Doesn't control very well, mostly because you're swiping left and right to control and turn and move. So analog style control, but the screen is too small because it's vertical. Things vertically with Nintendo, they need to do it more screen space. Holy shit, there's a lot of gotcha. I want you to buy stuff right off the bat. There is a 99 cents subscription, and I don't really know why they have it and what you need it for. I think it just gives you like something every month. I don't know.
It's because Nintendo are the kings of mobile.
Nintendo.
They know exactly what they're doing in the mobile space, and always have and always will.
They've been doing mobile for 3 years now and have no idea what they're doing.
I mean, they've been doing consoles for 30
Yeah.
years now and barely have an idea what they're doing. It feels like they keep stumbling into success, even though I know that's not true. But
No, you're right. They kind of do. It's Mario Kart, and I've probably put about up three. All the characters are you have to kind of gain access to them. This is because, of course, Mario, gems. You fire off a fucking pipe. You literally use one of those green Mario warp pipes, and you might get a new vehicle or a new glider, and that's basically it. But there's not much to the game so far. It seems to kind of have soft launched. Multiplayer isn't technically on it yet. Only asymmetric multiplayer is on there. But that's it. It's Mario Kart. It's free.
who needs multiplayer in Mario Kart?
Who needs multiplayer in Mario Kart? Now, this is a game that I would have paid $5 for, maybe even $10 for if everything was unlocked and all the courses were unlocked. Because I think Mario Kart on my phone with these controls, I can kind of dig it. It would have been great if they did Bluetooth controller options like they have with Apple Arcade, but nope. So yeah, we're stuck with a swipe right to Mario, swipe left to Koopa. But that's it. That's what I've been.
Play that.
No, it's free, but
I mean,
I will say one thing.
I took a chance on whatever that fucking Mario Run. I played the free version of that, and I did not care for that at all.
No, I actually like that. I actually enjoyed that one. It was very basic though. It wasn't like hardcore Mario by any means. It was a very easy Mario game, but
it wasn't even the Mario trappings that bothered me. It was the fact that it was so easy compared to something like Cannibalt. Like, yep. I put so many hours into Cannibalt. I got really fucking good at that game, and then here comes Mario Run, and it's like, oh, I'm gonna swipe this, and he's gonna jump off the wall, and all the coins are just trails that show you exactly where to go and when to jump. Okay. Oh, I beat the level. Oh, I beat all the levels.
Nintendo's best mobile game so far is Fire Emblem.
Yeah.
I love the Fire Emblem game. I could play that nonstop because it's controls that actually work great. Just touch to attack, but Yeah, they have him in the Dr. Mario world, whatever that is. That was junk. Mitomo died real quick. Um, Animal Crossing is
Garbage.
garbage. There's like nothing happens in Animal Crossing. I mean, Pokemon Go, but that's not really a Nintendo property. It's a Pokemon company type of thing. But yeah, it's Mario Kart. I'll play it a little bit and then I'll be it. But
Yeah.
that's all I've been playing. Nothing beyond that. Let me hear more about what you've been playing. You've been playing some of the same things the last few
So I've
that
been,
you had the last weeks, but didn't you try something new?
yeah, so I've been playing a lot of the same four fucking things. I've been playing a shitload of Oxygen, not included.
Hmm.
Um, but then I picked up. I guess I'll start here. I picked up a game. It's an. I just want to open up Steam and double check that it's not out yet. I believe it's early access. Oh, Steam opened up to the wrong window.
Oh, I oh it. Ah, look out!
Well, I think that just gave away all my personal information because it opened up to the window I'm using to stream the show. Whoops.
Here goes
Um.
the credit card info, everybody.
Uh. Yeah, it's early access still. So I started playing a game called Buoyancy.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's an early access game right now. Um, it's 14.49 Canadian, so I assume that's 12.99 American.
Yeah,
11.99,
somewhere around there.
somewhere
Yeah.
10.99, somewhere around there. Anyway, it's a city builder because that's a shitload of the games I play. But it's like you're on the ocean. It's like a flooded world, I guess.
Hmm.
Think like Raft or something like that, where you're just like on a plank of wood and there's like debris all like and shit all over the water you have to collect. But you're building a city, like you're building out from this raft, and you get all these different resource gathering buildings, and you need certain buildings to collect certain resources, and then there's pirate attacks. And if you like, the bigger you make your raft, like your dudes on the raft literally paddle it when you want to
Hmm.
go somewhere
Wow.
until you get to a point in the tech where you can make a motor and fuel the motor. But the bigger you make your raft, the slower they paddle because they're pulling more. But yeah, it's okay. It's early access. It's very early.
Okay.
It's very early. It's kind of janky. It didn't crash on me or anything like that, but it's fun
Hmm.
ish.
Hmm.
uh, and then the other thing I've been playing a lot is this game called Dungeon Dreams, which is a
I
game.
haven't heard of this.
This is a game that has been out for a long time, I think. I'll look this one up too. Dungeon Dreams. I guess it hasn't been out that long. So this is, I believe, an RPG Maker game.
Okay.
It came out in February of this year, and the entire reason I'm playing it is because one of my favorite games from like the PlayStation One era is this game called Azure Dreams.
I remember Azure Dreams.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
remember that
dude.
tower?
Yep.
So I
Yep.
just randomly I was thinking about that the other night, and I was like, hop onto Google. What games are similar to Azure Dreams? And I found a Reddit thread, and somebody mentioned this thing, and it's like, fuck it, okay, why not? So I bought it, and it's an RPG Maker game, but it's got a dungeon with
Huh.
multiple floors, and the floors are randomly generated, and you get into a party, and you level up, and there's like apparently there's like city building aspects to it, just like Azure Dreams, where like you gotta build out this town. It seems kind of cool. The combat,
Cool. Cool.
I
Cool.
mean, picture in your head an RPG Maker game that uses Final Fantasy ish turn based combat, and you've got an image of this game in your head. But
Huh.
yeah, so I've been playing that. That seems okay too. I'm probably
It's
gonna keep.
it's kind of. I used to make games in the old school RPG makers, and it was super easy to do.
Yeah.
Have you ever messed around with the RPG maker?
Oh, way back in the day. Way back in the
Yeah.
day, I thought maybe I could use RPG Maker to recreate a game that I used to play. Do you remember the website Games Domain?
Yeah, dude.
Do you remember Treasure Crypt?
I don't know if I do or not.
So Treasure Crypt was Games Domain, for anybody who never heard of it, was a website that was run by the company that went on to make RuneScape.
Yep.
And
Okay.
it was essentially like a 3D Flash portal, and they would have like the main menu was like an interactive, um, like meeting hall basically. But they would have a list of like 10 or 12 games, like flash games that you could play, and most of them were multiplayer. And
Hmm.
one that would come up in the rotation every now and again was this game called Treasure Crypt. Treasure Crypt was it was like you and up to three other people would start in this like randomly generated dungeon, which I think was based off tile sets, and it would be filled with treasure and enemies and stuff like that. And you would have like 30 or 45 turns, and like each round you could move a certain amount of space depending on your
Hmm.
character, and you do that however many times. And you collect treasure, and you could fight monsters or recruit them. And if you recruited them successfully, that gave you more carrying capacity to get more treasure. Um, and at the end of however many rounds, whoever had the most points won. And everybody in my school back in like grade 6 or whatever played the shit out of this. Like you would rush to one of the few computers in the school to try and get on there and play this shit. And then of course RuneScape happened, and that website got shut down, and nobody has that game because it was just like on this website. And there's like, if you Google it, you find people that remember it, and occasionally you find like, oh, here's some like beta screenshots from when it was all wireframes and shit like that. It's like, well, that's kind of helpful, but not really. But I wanted to build that. I wanted to rebuild it out from memory in RPG Maker, but I never quite got it.
Story before I tried to make a like an Apocalypse Now style game in RPG Maker, and I got through the first. If anyone's seen Apocalypse Now, you'll know the I think it's Martin Sheen is in the film, and
Mm-hmm.
anyway, so essentially remade that the opening scenes of that in RPG Maker, and then it got just way too complex, and I thought, okay, this is going to be much more difficult to. Um,
Yep.
Ended up just ending. I'm like, forget it. I'm done.
And then the last thing that I haven't really put a shitload of time into, like I've just kind of been looking at it, is another early access game called Re-Legend.
Hmm.
Uh, here are the tags it has on Steam: early access, RPG, adventure, simulation. Um,
Things.
and it's like an RPG, except it's like an RPG crossed with like Stardew slash Harvest Moon. So it's like you do combat, but there's like animal capturing and raising, like monster raising, and there's farming, and there's like a village, and you make friends and probably end up marrying somebody, I assume. Um, and apparently there's multiplayer, which is cool. But
Ellie-ish.
I haven't
Okay.
fucked around with that too much yet. I'll know more about that game by next week. But
Your homework assignment.
yeah, that's pretty much everything I've been playing.
I have a couple games that I'm actually playing view right now that I can't talk about yet, but I'll have some stuff to talk about next week. So
I gotta write a review, man.
I know I finally plowed through one review a couple weeks ago, and I mean, it's that time of year, right? So
Well, I mean, I'm at the point where like I don't have anything on the review docket. Like everything I've been playing for the last however long is just stuff that I've been playing, and I tend not to review that because I buy those for fun. And like once I review a game, I tend to lose interest in playing it. Like it's like this game was for this job. I have produced this thing. I have no more interest in this game. Like that's just how I am with. But so I don't really do that. But I haven't written anything. Like I haven't written anything in like 2 months probably.
wow.
And so it's like I should just fucking burn one of these games and just write about it.
A bunch of these getting asked about that nobody's really interested in. Sometimes it's review or take a look at a game that do hot take for something that may not normally interest you.
Yeah,
Something. Talk after the show. We'll talk.
we'll try.
That's it. That's all we got. What we've been playing.
Yeah, I guess nobody else is showing up, so
But this is the kind of the final much being released this week. Throttle starting next week with the games launching every week going forward. So
next week starts the countdown to 4 weeks till Death Stranding, roughly.
oh my god.
I don't know when our show next week would be. When would our show next week be? Our show next week would be the third, so it'd be 4 weeks and 3 days till Death Stranding.
All right.
speaking of that, did you I had no idea. Did you know about the Mountain Dew thing? All the water in that game is Mountain Dew.
Uh, is that what we're? Is it like the game is idiocracy? Is that what's happening?
I think you just got paid a
Idiocracy or
shitload of
no?
money to do that, but it's like you drink out of your canteen to like refresh yourself because there's like I assume there's some shit like that, and you're drinking Mountain Dew, and like the prompt even says like drink some Mountain Dew and to regain
Ema.
stamina and you feel refreshed. Oh yeah, it was a whole thing on the other show I was on this week. Like we probably talked about this Mountain Dew thing for like an hour. Just makes me
The
more.
Monster Energy drink.
Yeah, it just makes me more. Oh, what am I saying? Yeah, Monster Energy. What am I saying? Mountain Dew. That's how tired I am. Yeah, it's Monster Energy. Like you drink out of your canteen, it's Monster Energy, and the whole time. But yeah.
Oh, I've been playing one other thing. I just remembered. Titled Goose Game.
Oh yeah.
I will say that it's nice to be a goose asshole.
I mean, that's
Um,
all geese.
they're assholes, but this fantastic job, and everybody's talked about this game to death. The art style, it's just kind of the simple polygonal basic design. The controls are real basic. You can honk things, but you can't fly. You can sort of crouch and you can grab things. And that's it. And I think that's what all geese know how to do, anyways. But just the combination of what you can take and what you can place and what you can do gets people to do different things. And so it's really fucking hilarious to get, have people be afraid of you or have a gardener chase you or, get people wet with, in the water and stuff. So it's pretty fun. And it's my 9-year-old has been loving watching me play that. So yeah, Untitled Goose Game. It's good. Check it out. That's it. I only put about an hour into it, so
I mean, I heard it's only like 2 hours long, so.
it's only 2 hours long. Yeah, an hour into it, and I'm basically halfway through the game. So through a couple of the areas already. But that's it. Let's get into some news. Let's polish off this podcast as fast as
Yeah,
possible.
we'll
Let's
do
do
it
that. Let's get
fast.
to
I
the
got
news.
3 news stories.
Okay, perfect. I like that.
News story the first. The Oculus.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah,
That's
thank you.
fancy,
Very official. The Oculus Quest is
formal.
getting camera-based finger tracking in 2020.
Yes,
I saw the video for this and it blew my fucking mind.
it's fucking awesome. Now, my only issue with this is that you basically have to have your hands like within the range, right, of the camera, like in front of you somewhere, like this type of thing.
I think so, but doesn't the Oculus Quest work with if you have those room cameras from one of your other devices?
Maybe can it use those as well? I mean, does
I
it
don't
tie
know.
into those? I thought it was just the cameras on the actual Quest.
Maybe I'm not sure. I don't have a
But
Quest,
either
but
way, that's still that's awesome for um
I
a
mean,
whole bunch of shit.
ultimately, even if that's the restriction where it has to be within the camera on your headset, like that's a little weird, but it proves the tech works. So there's no reason it
Yeah, for
shouldn't
sure.
work with anything going forward.
Yep, yep.
It's
And and you can plug the Quest into your PC now with an update
with
using
with Oculus Link.
Oculus Link. That's awesome
Yeah,
because I know a lot of folks wanted the Quest, and so the problem with Oculus was they had the Quest,
I
which
want
had
the
its own
Quest. I
store.
want one of
They
those.
had the Go, which had its own store. Then they had the Oculus, which had its own store. Then there's like the Steam store. Then there's Facebook. The Quest is now the all-in-one Oculus device because it can use the Go apps. It can access the Go store, its own Quest store, and it can hook up to a PC and use the actual fucking PC as the brain. To me, that's pretty awesome. And it does all that cool hand, the hand stuff as well.
I mean,
So that's badass.
this just blows my mind. I was having a conversation with somebody who was like, they were trying to argue the point that like since the invention of the internet, there hasn't really been any kind of mind blowing, revolutionary tech inventions. It's all just been iteration on things that already
Yep.
exist. And we went, I can't really argue that or argue against it because I don't care. But off that, we started talking about like VR and how insane VR has been in the last like 3 years. Like we went from VR, quote unquote, in the '90s, which was like
Mm-hmm.
the the Virtual Boy, where it was all dog shit wireframe, 2-color bullshit,
Yeah.
to this, which was giant clunky headsets and needing a huge amount of space and needing hardware all over that space and giant wires running from your helmet, which was heavy, and your screens were low res,
Mm-hmm.
to high res eye tracking helmets that are lightweight, which can be run wirelessly, which don't need any tech in your room, and now they can track your hands without needing controllers. So literally, it's just the fucking goggles on your face.
That's
How
pretty
insane! How
awesome, dude.
crazy is that? In 3 years, that's where we are.
It's awesome.
Like in 3 more years, are we going to be at the point where it's like Google Glass wanted to be?
I think so. I mean, they said they're working on an AR uh AR glasses,
Yeah.
so we might be
Oh
there.
man. Anyway, that's that. It's coming out in 2020.
Cool. I'm really excited. The
Uh,
Quest is coming out in 2020, or
the finger based tracking.
the finger based tracking. Okay.
The link is either out now or coming out by the end of 2019, I think.
I think it's very soon. Yeah.
Yeah. Story number 2. The ISFE says the French copyright resale ruling that we talked about the other week,
Uh-huh.
the involving Valve, etc., goes against established EU law. So they're expecting an appeal, and the whole ruling will be overturned. But they essentially say that creative works like ebooks, music, games are exempt from what they call the goods exhaustion doctrine, which
Hmm.
essentially states, with regards to physical goods, a copyright holder loses their right of distribution after the first sale, which is why it's legal to then resell, say, a book
Mm-hmm.
or a CD, because the copyright holder no longer has any rights regarding that. But they're saying that with software, digital goods, that exhaustion doctrine doesn't ever expire, which is why the French ruling goes against EU law. So there will probably be an appeal, and if what they're saying is true, chances are that appeal will say the French ruling is incorrect, and we cannot look forward to resales of digital
Hmm.
goods, which I think sucks, but eh. A lot of people seem to think.
It's
A lot of people seem to think that if you were allowed to resell your video games, that all video games would become microtransaction laden because publishers would need to make more money somewhere. And
somehow, yeah, I don't know.
it's like, oh yeah, you think that's these motherfuckers are making like $2 billion a game, and it's like, you think they need to make more money because people can sell their bullshit? I
Hmm.
don't know. That's it.
You know what? It's more and more turning towards I think I posted something to this extent. So were you going to talk about Google this week at all? The Play Pass thing? No.
I don't
Okay.
have them on here, but if you got something,
That's fine. No, so I'll bring it up because it ties into the story. So, of course, Apple Arcade launched last week or a week before that, whatever. People are digging it.
hi Tom.
Google, hi Tom. He's online, but he's not in the fucking goddamn Tom. But so Google like announced and launched Play Pass like 2 days later, which is their version of Apple Arcade, in not as great of a way, obviously, but they're just kind of repackaging a bunch of games that are already on the store.
A lot of
Well,
games.
a lot of games.
It's like three. It's like north of 300 games.
300 games and apps.
Games and apps, yeah.
Which now this is where I think is kind of interesting. A lot of folks, I did a little bit of research. I think Sensor Tower had the numbers. On average, people spend about $80 a year on software, on app purchases, mobile purchases. So that includes like apps and music and that kind of shit. Mostly like apps and software. So $80. And if you look at paying like $5 to $6 a month, that averages out to like $60 a year. So I could see a time where a Google or an Apple says, "Listen, you can buy games, or if you pay $10 a month, every game and app in our store is free. $10 a month." I think there's actually something kind of compelling about that because then you really do have sort of this Netflix for app experiences, for experiences, interactive experience and stuff. People can buy the games if they want them, but I think that's where you would push. That's where a lot of developers and stuff but then they probably won't be getting as big of a cut on a subscription. But um, it's a way for people to keep paying for games that are out there and have access to everything. So
Yeah,
it. I don't know. Maybe there's something there.
I don't know. There might be something there. I have no interest in it because I mean,
Yeah.
how many people, how many times in this industry do we hear somebody go, "Oh yeah, I've been paying for Xbox Live for 7 years. I haven't turned my Xbox on in 3."
Me. That's me.
Yeah,
I'm the one that's doing it. I will. The only time I hop on is on the Xbox website so that I can download the games with gold, and
yeah.
then I log off.
It's just like
Yeah.
I got no interest. I got no time for that.
Yep.
Plus, like I'll play a game and I'll play it into the ground and then probably never touch it again, which would
Yeah.
work quite
Same.
well with that subscription because it's like, well, I just never need to play that game again, especially if I let it lapse. Except occasionally you want to go back. And if I have to re-up a subscription just to go back and play a game that I've already played, like nah.
Yeah. No, I agree. But there are those folks that like Game Pass, right? Xbox Game Pass.
That's
I mean, if
another
there's
that's another thing that seems like a really good value that I don't pay for. So
I don't either at the moment. I haven't jumped into the Game Pass Ultimate thing. I missed that boat when it was like $1 extra deal, whatever. But uh, it's it's an idea that I mean, we already do Netflix. I use Netflix all the time. I probably watch something on Netflix once or twice a day because there's some good stuff on there. Rarely do I go back to older films or older things on there. I'll just kind of watch something and binge through it, and that's it. But um, uh, I'd be curious for the folks that use Game Pass or Apple Arcade or anything like that. I'm curious if they end up getting their fill, I guess, right? Because sometimes there are so many games that it's almost overwhelming, and no one's ever going to say, "Oh, I just lived off Apple Arcade and played these 5 games nonstop, and they were fantastic, and I played them from start to finish." You typically don't do that. Now, Game Pass, maybe you would use it so you can get, Gears 5 for super cheap. But then, yeah, like you're saying, in your case, if you unsubscribe after you've played Gears 5, you have to resubscribe that $9 or $10, whatever that is, to get back into it. So who knows? I don't know. Maybe there's a place for it. Some people are using it, so who
anybody
knows?
anybody who feels the need to get a service like that and like I mean if you pay $10 a month and you play Gears 5 for example, like the week it comes out, you've essentially in terms of value just paid for the next 5 months of that subscription, or in
Yeah,
Canadians case 8 months of that subscription.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, so if you're the kind of person that can just download and play a game and then just put it aside and not think about it anymore, like this might be perfect for you.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
All right. What else? What else you got? What's the last bit of news?
Well, speaking of Gears 5, the last bit of news is essentially an interview with Aaron Greenberg from Microsoft.
Hmm.
He gave an interview, uh, and he covered a bunch of stuff, but he was asked about the like Microsoft's like exclusivity stance because that's the thing that everybody cares about these days. With
Hmm.
Apple Arcade and the Call of Duty thing that Sony's doing with the year exclusivity. But anyway, so he was asked about it, um, specifically with regards to Gears 5 and Ori and the Blind Forest, and he said that Gears and Ori are kind of exceptions. Like they're on multiple things. Gears is on PC and Xbox. Ori's on 360 and is coming to Switch and is on PC. I don't know if it's on PlayStation. Um, he said basically they're exceptions, and games that are still upcoming like Outer Worlds, which was announced to be multi-platform before Microsoft bought that studio, will continue to be multi-platform. Those commitments will be honored, which I think is kind of cool. Um,
Sure.
but he said basically that for the most part, their exclusives will stay exclusives. He said Gears went on to Steam because Steam has a massive market share, and it just seemed like the right idea to try and engage an audience and bring them into the Microsoft environment through Steam because there's a shitload of people there, and so get Gears out there, and that'll bring people in. And Ori's a third-party developer, an independent developer, and he had said, "I want to put it here and here and here," and they said, "Yeah, cool." Um, so I don't know. I just thought that was newsworthy because everybody's
I
been
mean,
everybody, including myself at one point, has been saying like, "Oh, wouldn't it be crazy if all the Xbox games were just on everything now?" And it's like, nah, not everything, but some things.
I remember everyone was freaking out and saying that they wanted, they're like, well, we're gonna get Master Chief Collection on Switch.
Well, I wasn't expecting games to come out on the platform. I was expecting Microsoft to be like, "We've got a subscription service now, and you
Project X Cloud, here's stream all
sure,
your stuff on there.
yeah,
Yeah.
here's an app that you can get on
Yep.
any system that has the internet, and if you have a subscription to that app, you can stream all these games." That's the way I thought it was going. Like, yeah, you're going to get Master Chief Collection on your Switch because the Switch has the internet, and you can get this app. But that hasn't happened, or won't happen, or hasn't happened yet. So I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it's good. I think keeping things exclusive is good for Microsoft. I think honoring those, those developer wishes for going on before they acquired them, I think is right on, and they're doing the right thing. Matter of exclusives in for the next gen because they're saving up so many games and so many projects for. That's why you're seeing Iron Wasteland for Xbox right now. Is there, for everything we've been hearing is that they're going to go hard for Xbox. I mean, there's no Forza game this year, which means we're gonna get a Forza at launch for the people that still like Forza. Master Chief is get
We need to refinish that fight.
fight, yeah, and start a new one. Um, and you're gonna get a bunch of new games, I believe, and so a big launch. So they've built up these exclusives, and to be honest, games out there helps them because, like you said, it's going to bring them into the Microsoft fold. Hey, come check out. You guys got Gears? You like Gears? That we have with Gears on the Xbox 2 or whatever, and so it'll be really interesting to see what happens when this next gen gets launched here.
What if they just call it the Xbox, but it's spelled XBOXX, and then to signify
That'd be awesome.
they just put another X.
I'd
They
be
just put
sexy.
another X
Yeah,
on it.
I like the Xbox X, the Xbox 66. Then it'd be triple X, right? Because there'd be three X's in the name.
Yeah.
Cool. Any other news? Because I do actually have a couple. I have one more tidbit.
That's everything I had.
But one thing that literally just now, people were talking about Last of Us 2 and how there's no multiplayer. Because supposedly some folks like the multiplayer in The Last of Us.
Apparently the multiplayer was really good.
Apparently it was really good, had factions and everything. So folks are wondering, where's the multiplayer? Where's the multiplayer? So Naughty Dog just released a statement, said an update regarding multiplayer. I'll read it right now. They tweeted it out. It says, we wanted to address multiplayer in The Last of Us Part 2. As we stated, the single-player campaign is far and away the most ambitious project Naughty Dog has ever undertaken. Hi, Joel. Likewise, as development began on the evolution of our factions mode from The Last of Us Part 1, the vision of the team grew beyond an additional mode that could be included with our enormous single-player campaign. Wanting to support both visions, we made the difficult choice that Last of Us Part 2 would not include an online mode. However, we will eventually experience the fruits of our team's online ambition, but not as part of The Last of Us Part 2. When where it will be realized is still to be determined when and where, so it's PS5. But rest assured, we are as big a fan of factions as the rest of our community and are excited to share more when it's ready. So, hey, there is multiplayer happening. But maybe it's going to be a Last of Us spin-off or something like GTA Online or something.
Seems like a terrible idea.
You think so?
Yeah, I think like that the multiplayer was good. I don't think the multiplayer was spin-off game good.
It sounds like that's what they're going for, though,
I think
right?
that multiplayer was good partially because it was in a game that people were already buying.
Yeah.
Like everybody was getting that game, and like, oh, here's a multiplayer mode. Oh wow, it's actually functional and like kind of fun to play. I don't think it was good enough to be like, oh, here's a probably $40 separate
Sure.
video game
Sure.
that's only multiplayer for Last
Right.
of Us. Like, yeah, you think this one?
Really?
I don't know.
Who knows? Who
Maybe
knows?
we'll find out. They're doing
I
something.
I think I played the first one for a little bit. Oh, that first Last of Us will be available as part of PlayStation Plus in October. So, um,
I watched the trailer for Last of Us
yeah.
2. I don't think that game looks that good.
You know what's funny is
I think that game looks exactly as good as Last of Us 1 looked when it came out, and it's several years past that.
you mean visually,
Yeah.
visual style. Last of Us One looked fucking awesome. I will say that on
When it came out.
PS3, when it came out, it looked fantastic. Sort of remaster upscale version that was on the PS4 looked pretty good as a sort of a launch title for the PS4 right on that
Yeah.
launch time. Um, the I was taking screen caps of the trailer for God, that looks really good right now because I'm sick. I need to chug back some alcohol. As I'm taking screen caps in 1080p, uh, everything just kind of came out not. I mean, you don't screen caps are only as good as a screen cap, right? You're gonna get some blurriness and stuff, but it didn't look great because I was actually capturing like frames, and I thought, wow, that's it could look better. Granted, I have never seen it in person. I've just seen trailers, so who knows? On the PS4 or PS5, whatever it's on, probably both. I'm sure it'll look great, but
Their heads
yeah,
look big too. Their heads look too big.
yeah, we'll see when it comes out.
Go back and watch that trailer, and
Okay.
watch the scenes like right near the start, before Ellie's like riding off into the winter with her friend. Look at the size of their head compared to the size of their bodies. Their heads are
Hmm.
too big.
We got horses though.
They got
So that's good.
horses. I mean,
We got horses.
it
Well,
stands to reason that they've got. They probably did something with horses since everybody seems to feel like they need to mocap their own horses.
Mocapping horses is the future. Oh, one last thing. This actually came out of the Oculus the Connect that was yesterday. There is Respawn is making Medal of Honor Above and Beyond,
Hmm.
which is really funny because wasn't that Infinity Ward that made the Medal of Honor series, and now the Infinity Ward guys, Respawn, are now making a Medal of Honor VR game.
Yeah.
It didn't look very great, to be
No.
honest, but um, FPS games in VR don't work, guys. We've tried. I don't think anything has worked.
I have a friend who
It's
plays the shit out of a VR specific
Farpoint or something.
Project Dust or some.
Oh,
No, that's the Eve Online.
yeah.
Like Dustlands, some shit like that. I don't know.
I don't know.
It's something where I don't know. He keeps trying to. He's like, you got to come up to my place and you got to play this game. I want to see you play it. It's like, nah.
Maybe hand tracking will help.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I got. That's all I got.
You won't need to pretend to hold a gun with hand tracking. You can just do this.
Oh, dude, now that's an awesome idea.
Yeah.
I can see people do that the whole time. Oh, that's cool. Okay, you sold. I'm sold.
Yep.
That's it. Thanks, Aaron. Thanks for prepping the news for us, bud.
Yeah, that's.
Look at that. We knocked this podcast out in 45 minutes. I wish we could always be on point like this.
Well, we just got to make sure nobody else ever shows up.
Yeah. That's true. We can make that
we'll
happen.
kick Sam off, and then we don't have to do anything for Tom.
Because Tom never shows up. But all right, good. Yeah, next week we'll have a lot more shit to talk about because I'll actually have a house to talk from instead of a basement. Goodbye, basement.
And regardless of who's broadcasting, whichever one of us does it, we'll have good internet.
Yes, correct.
So
correct.
no more hiccups, and
finally
we'll all sound good, and it'll be awesome.
I might have my AT220 set up, so we'll see. All right, that's it. You can find me at Dalidomofsky. You can find us at SideQuesting TV. You can find Twitch affiliate Aaron Kelly at.
You can find me at Scratty Bones, Twitch and Twitter. You can find me on SideQuesting when I end up writing things. You can find me. You can find me on the GamesBeat Decides podcast this past week.
It's good. It's good.
I'm on there. It's me, Jeff Grubb, and John Phipps.
Yep.
Chatting.
Chatting
a lot about Death Stranding.
Yeah, a lot. It was pretty good. It was good. Like the whole second half of the show was Death Stranding. We may be doing depending on our schedules, we may be doing Wednesday next week if I can get things up and running. So the only reason we've been doing Thursdays is because Wednesdays have been hectic in the evenings, but if we're all moved in, then maybe we'll do Wednesday next week, and that way we can start distancing ourselves from some of our friends who we overlap with on Thursday nights. But that's it. We'll figure it out. All right, everyone. We'll see you in the next side quest. Bye bye.